This is the trade I was looking for going into Tuesday, 27th of August. I was looking for a bullish opportunity. I wanted price to come up to, well, my long-term target is this buy side liquidity right here. We're just taking this high last week with a strong bullish candle. Obviously, there's liquidity resting above these highs and also above these highs. Hence why I was a bit cautious going in. I don't expect price to reach the buy side liquidity straight away. It can do, it can't do. So let's go look at it on the lower time frames. So yeah, we closed above these highs. We closed above this fair value gap looking left. Monday we closed with a bullish engulfing candle. Sorry, Friday with a bullish engulfing candle. And if you watch my pre-market analysis for yesterday and for the weekend, you'd know that I was expecting a bearish candle coming into Monday. And that's exactly what we get. And going into Tuesday, I wanted price to come down, take the low of that Monday's candle and find support, ideally during London session or New York session. And what was better was yesterday price came into this 50% off this 240 fair value gap and held. So I wanted price to move around and come down and take that low again, or either tap into the fair value gap. There's another fair value gap on the 60-minute time frame, and 50% the consequent encroachment of the fair value gap on the 60-minute during news. So we had consumer confidence at 3 p.m. and ideally I wanted price to consolidate, take out the low, tap into that 50% and then push up. So let's see how price played out today. So yeah, we come into, let's just drop to the lower time frame. So the blue is Asian session, right? We open, New York opens here at 12 o'clock. This is London session. Price pushes up, takes out liquidity off. I wanted price to take out liquidity of that before looking for short. However, we've got this short-term high here. That price comes and takes the liquidity off and then starts to drop lower during New York session. This blue is a New York session. News is out at 10 a.m. So I wanted to wait until 10 a.m. to look for an entry. However, price starts to find bullish displacement after rejecting that low. Holds. You go, this is 9:45. We push up and then we don't really get that much of a reaction during the news. We get this pattern and I placed my entry at 618 initially with my stops below this low, and then target I wanted to aim for here. So let's see what happens. I see this price action. Price rejected these highs, clear on the 15-minute time frame. We, took liquidity above these highs at this fair value gap, which means normally, that's external range liquidity. So price ideally wants to come and take internal range liquidity. However, because this is the London close session, price starts to form this during London close, made a low, but didn't make a high. I moved my entry here. And I moved my entry there, and price comes and triggers my entry eventually. I left this was 11:15 p.m. sorry, a.m. That's 4:15 p.m. for me. After placing the entry and stops, I went to the gym, so I I just let this play out, and price eventually comes down and it hits my 618. No matter what, the 618 entry would have been ideal, would have given me a better risk reward. Instead of 1.4, I would have gotten 2R. Regardless, doesn't matter. I see trade starts to move in my direction eventually, and I feel more confident. However, as price starts to move higher and higher, just as price is making this candle here, I exited the trade at this high. I wanted to take half a position off at this high and then let the rest play out, just because we have, this might be the low of the week before price pushes up to at least these highs. However, because this is something I've just recently come across, and something that I don't really know the full outcome on a Tuesday, especially in the evening, because this was around 5, almost 6 o'clock for me. So ideally, I would have thought the market would have been a lot less volatile. However, it starts to move. my direction and continues to go higher, which is what I was anticipating eventually, to take targets 1 at that level, targets 2 at this level. What annoyed me was, and what made me get out early, one of the reasons was the fact that I entered the trade way too early, and I didn't want to take out targets there and move my stops to break even at this high, just in case price came down and took my stops. If I take an entry there, then I would feel a lot more comfortable placing my break even there and then letting the trade run. But it's what it is. It's a lesson that I'm learning, and it's something that I'm going to have to test out now, because I don't want to go through, not being able to hold a winner for a while, especially if it goes up to this highs. It's what it is. It's the first one of these trades I've taken, so I'm quite happy with the execution of it. However, the trade management of it could have been better. So there's that, and I'll see how it plays out tomorrow. It's almost Wednesday close now, and we can see price actually pushed up after yesterday, my entry yesterday, and then came up to the weekly open, and during the night, during Asian session, and just before London, when I woke up, I saw price start to displace down. Displace down. I was hoping I would get another entry down here, which I did. I took an entry at this low. Again, because of this strong displacement coming down, after, I started taking into consideration that it's the end of the month. We have been strongly bullish for the whole month. So the last week most likely might close on a wick, rather than as a strong bullish, up close candle. Therefore, I started to be a bit more cautious and start taking partials along the way. So I'm glad yesterday I took targets off here rather than aiming for these highs. However, target could have still be aimed at these equal highs right there, right above that range. And then I could have let target 2 run for those highs. At least in that case, I would have taken more targets. Even this, just 2 to 1 entry below at 618 would have been even better. Yeah, so many things to take note of and be less FOMO when getting into a trade like this. But going into Thursday, I'm looking at these equal lows on the 4-hour time frame. Just below that, we also have this fair value gap. It'd be nice if price comes down and actually taps into that first level of that fair value gap, with something, some kind of an entry model to go long, short-term long. I wouldn't aim to go back to these highs on a Thursday. So yeah, let's see how that plays out. Another reason I stopped, or I started questioning the bullish momentum, was the fact that end of month, of course, we failed to make a new high, and we start to displace on the 4-hour time frame. So in the morning, as this candle was forming, it held the 50% level. It was holding the 50% level as a pin bar. However, as this closed below this 50%, and also on the 1-hour time frame, it closed below the 60 minutes fair value gap, 50% right there. After seeing that, I was hesitant on looking for a long position, and even if I did, when I did, I took an entry. I took partials off and got out straight away. And now we have this strong displacement coming down. Ideally, price can come into these levels and find some resistance and come down to the strong liquidity. So right now I'm looking for bearish opportunities. Unless something changes in the meantime and gives me some kind of a bullish bias, then I will change my bias. But until we reach these lows, I'm bearish.